computer to come on and be crazy, so here we go, okay. We'll get a pen and just worry about it. Okay, so of course, Chris Hudson is here. Asanga is not here. I'm here. Piper here. Sarah. Yes. Tanner.
Here.
All right. Derek.
Here.
Stephen.
Here.
Michael. I was like, I haven't seen him. Retha. Treva.
I'm here for treatment.
Okay, and tell me your name again.
Aaron Gann.
Aarongann. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Delane, Roshni, Annette.
I'm here for Annette.
Okay, and tell me your name again.
Julie. And it's Beyer, B-E-Y-E-R.
B-E-Y-E-R? Okay. Thank you so much for that. And then Brent's. Okay, and then any other guests? I know we'll have him later, but, or,
All right, so first order of business is to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Those have been available to you there. If you take a look at them, please.
I've got Treva, the news, listed the members present and members absent.
oh gosh, thank you. Thank you. I will fix that. All right, was she here? Was she?
She's not here.
Okay, I just forgot to take her off the list at the top, then I'm sure is what I did. Thank you.
I'm also not listed in either.
Okay, oh, you were not, I'm sorry.
I was
Tanner,
here, but I
got
was
you.
online. I don't know if that matters.
Oh,
You were online.
yes,
What
okay,
happened?
let me put you under present then, yes, okay.
We need a
Thank
third
you.
category for online.
I don't know, but thank you.
No.
This is what I need to fix,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, I
thank
don't know,
you.
do we need
Virtually present. All right.
Any other, y'all tell me, anything else, please? Not at all.
So I have a motion for approval
second?
with those changes.
I motion.
Second, got it. All right, all in favor? All right, motion approved. Now we'll move on to announcements. Today, we're going to have Dr. Coleman visit the new Vice President of Human Resources. He should be in around 1:30. He was scheduled for a meeting so it might be right around in there. I was on the search committee for Dr. Coleman, for the position, and he was, I guess, given the committee's overall decision, really impressive to all of us, and I think it's a good opportunity to sort of, for us, and Stephen, with your ad hoc committee on human resources situations, to sort of establish a rapport with the new VP. So I look forward to that. I can't think of any other.
I noticed in the minutes that it said Frank was supposed to be here this time.
Yeah, but it got moved.
Okay, so
He is out of town, so. So do I need to change it in the minutes though? Because we did say that, I was like, because we did say last time he was gonna be here this time, but then we found out he had a conflict, so he's gone. right now, so.
Okay, so we'll move on to old business. Update on constitution and bylaws. Piper and I basically worked on those. I sent them to, I don't know if you've all had a chance to look at them, but we did approve them at the last meeting with certain changes, just technical changes that we had to make. We did put in a provision that we would be following that particular section of the education code so that changes could be made without having to go to get a 2/3 vote of the faculty as a whole and things like that, given that we have to comply with state law. Although I suppose if we decide we wouldn't want to do something like that, we should probably have a vote along those lines. But I didn't, what's that?
Are they in effect at this time?
Yes. I haven't heard back from Mark, though, about of what he thought about them, but I'm assuming,
No news is good news.
yes, no news is good news. So, so I think we're in good shape there. We need to move to some old business that we were all a bit confused about, and that is the faculty survey, which I put a copy out there for. Apparently, Kathy Fraser, who's my department chair, agreed to be the chair of that committee, and she had a number of faculty members who put together the survey based on the coach survey that we had done before. And this one would be free, of course, and just getting information that specifically was applicable to Amarillo College. But I asked Steve and I asked Pam, we couldn't exactly figure out where that survey went it was right at the end of the semester. So we were involved in elections and we were involved in reconstituting the new Senate. So we're not sure where that went and what our thoughts are. My recollection is that we did have some suggestions for putting in some questions about our satisfaction with human resources office. And if you'll take the one that I sent out to you earlier this week online, and then the copy here, if you could just take a look at it. Frank is really interested in getting a resolution about this, and he wants it to go through us. So he wants us to give approval or to give approval with some changes or whatever we decide to do. So I know that Kathy's been, I don't know, Kathy's kind of hard to read sometimes, right? But she was concerned that Frank kept asking for them. So I think we should come to some kind of conclusion about them, whether we agree with this survey as it exists now, want to add something to it, or want to send it back for further tweaking by the committee that was set up by Kathy. However you want to do it is, I think is appropriate, and we can do it in however we want. But if you can take a look and we can have a brief discussion about that.
I actually, when I was reading through it the first time, under job satisfaction, it says, how manageable do you find your workload, including teaching, research, service, and administrative responsibilities? And I don't actually dislike the question, but that's not how we are evaluated. And that's not specific to our evaluation.
Okay, so which one?
In job satisfaction, salary, and workload, number 4.
Okay.
I actually think I like the question better than how we're actually, evaluated, but it's professional development, teaching effectiveness, and service, right, are the 3.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not really
Yeah, there's no research or like administrative.
correct.
abilities.
And so I don't know if it needs to be 2 separate questions or.
Well, or we could just amend it, teaching, service, and professional development.
Which is
and-
what our
and-
evaluations
And
have.
have it match what we're doing on our evaluations. That would,
Right, yeah, I think I think you're right. I think if we deleted the research, that would be, that comes
Research
more,
and administrative.
and administrative, and then add professional development, right?
and because that adds more into the professional development aspect, either the research part. So we can just,
I just think it should match how we're evaluated.
yeah, I like that idea, right?
And then the next one says, based on that current faculty evaluation process, how helpful is the feedback you've been getting? So, I think that ties it a little closer together.
Although administrative responsibilities chairs are still,
So we're still faculty. So
still
is that a
faculty.
separate question? If
Like
you-
one that's
if-
only applicable
Yeah,
to chairs.
if you hold administrative responsibilities, how do you feel about your workload or something?
so add that as a
I think that would be a
separate,
separate
yeah.
question, just
Being
with
part of committees is also could be counted as administrative responsibilities, right?
true.
Being part of committee.
and that's your service.
Yeah,
That's the service
That's the
piece.
service. So that's also responsibility.
Yeah, but it's still, I think that fits under service if we're thinking about evaluations, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true.
I would argue from the technical side that the administrative carries all the way down to the coordinator level.
Yes.
It is not just at the department chair or dean. And so, because I know there's a ton of stuff we have to do with that.
So you're thinking you
So we
wanna-
don't get
yeah.
secretary report and stuff like that. So
So you want to have it included in that?
I don't know. I just think there's a bigger pool that would answer that than just department chairs.
Yeah, I'm just reading that. up.
If you hold leadership responsibility or something like that.
So is that just a parenthesis in there?
I guess
about that,
so.
If applicable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Similar wording that's already in the faculty evaluation, because there's already a separate spot in there for supervisor. You can just put in extra stuff.
Did you get that?
No.
Kind of, okay.
Okay, what was it now? I'm sorry. I'm still trying to get mine.
No, you're fine. No, because the evaluation portal, so like when, as a program director, when I put in my evaluation, there's a separate section that I have to fill out that's for, so I don't remember the exact wording of it, but there's extra stuff that I have to put in there. So could maybe look there for some of that information.
For what that just.
For the terminology of the
Get
term.
the right verbiage, okay.
If we're trying to make it work with the evaluation, then I think that would be the direction to go.
Okay. All right.
Now, I haven't actually, I don't know that we added in any human resources questions into this, the version that Kathy had that I asked for recently. So do you think that we should add something in there specifically about it, or?
Yes, collegiate.
We have a new person, and in the spirit of fair play, I personally think it ought to be addressed separately so that there's more focus on the issues that existed, still exist, may exist. Then I don't want them to get lost in here, would be my thought.
Right.
We do have an institutional support and resources section. That would be the only place I think it could really go, right?
Yeah, and just again, I don't want it to get, people that had, people were pretty vocal when you start asking. I just don't want it to get lost anywhere.
Yeah.
Could we have, as part of the faculty service, since we're building it ourselves, could we have on a yearly basis, ad hoc questions that are appropriate to that year?
Interesting. But how would we,
Well, whoever,
what would be the route to
well,
prove
this,
that through us?
what format is this gonna be in, right?
Right.
And so we are still gonna be responsible for the faculty survey as the Senate. And so part of our process could be that before we send the faculty survey out, look to see, are there ad hoc questions to add for this cycle?
So we would have to have sort of an established protocol for adding something to the faculty survey at a certain point
Which is
before it actually gets sent out by the VPAA.
Is there a
right?
faculty survey committee?
Yeah, there is. So that could be like part of the faculty survey committees.
We could send it to them. Job.
Right.
I think so.
If anything came up, they could compile that and submit that
As
for
like
inclusion versus us to do
And then
that
like approve it. Yes.
for inclusion with that.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, so that would just need to be put into either bylaws or something about the committee charges.
Yeah, our committee
Faculty.
descriptions, didn't we have a Word document?
I haven't looked. I'm crazy busy and actually just going, I gotta get with Rashmi and Derek. We're gonna talk after this meeting and we're gonna set our first meeting before we leave.
Yeah.
Okay?
Because I'm pretty sure there is like, I feel like there's a
There
committee
probably-
description.
I believe there is.
And so
I
that's
was
just-
having it printed out in her binder last year.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think if we
know
could
it
just
is,
add that
because I saw it.
And we'll take care of that at that point. Okay.
We'll make sure we get that in.
Okay, so with, as we have it now, with the exception of those few changes that we made there, would you be amenable to sending this off to the VPAA as the faculty senate approved? So it's much shorter. It doesn't cost us any money, which is great. I never heard how much that coach survey cost, but I'm sure it was pretty pricey.
Gosh, I'm trying to remember, 10, 20?
I was thinking 20.
I think he said 20.
I've never had stuff.
So we can just put that in a pool and spread it around.
Yeah.
Was that
ourselves.
also the
We can have a
survey
motion.
where we could like kind of
We're happy to sign it.
review like our chairs and our deans and like.
I think that was good.
Well,
Because there has been, there are different faculty there's evaluations, like evaluate the dean when it's her time to be evaluated, and they just send a survey out.
okay, I didn't know if that was like in the same.
Yeah, I think it's in a separate one.
I was like, I think we do this.
Okay.
That's separate.
Okay. Well, then I'll
So a quick question.
yes.
These comments, are they questions that are going to be added or that was something that was?
Yeah, that's actually something I thought about because we don't really have a scale here.
Well, I
I
would
assume
say,
it's
I
gonna be a
think,
liker, I assume it's a.
1 through 5
1 through 5 or 1 through 7 like.
exactly, and then there's gonna be a little box underneath where you can make comment boxes.
Right.
That's what I
I'm
assume,
thinking.
is that after each section, that's generally the way our surveys go.
Yeah, that way if we have comments about any of the questions, then we can also like put those in there as well.
Yeah, so I assume that the formatting of it and the putting it online for us will be jobbed out to someone out there. Dr. Coleman's early. Shall we, if we're okay with the faculty survey point at this,
I move to approve the faculty survey with changes indicated.
all in favor?
Derek, okay, yeah, there you go, sorry.
All right.
Okay, Derek, you said.
All right,
Very good. Okay.
let us, Steve, if you would like to bring him in. We'll go ahead and have Dr. Coleman come in and we'll catch up on whatever. else.
Chair in the middle.
Yeah.
Don't make me do that.
Just he can sit anywhere he
Yeah,
wants.
down there, unless you want to pull that table out, I'm sure he'd be uncomfortable.
I would like,
I'd be like, okay, you're almost like you'll be here.
we're not interviewing you, we promise.
He already has the job. We're like, I don't know about, like, you may feel like you're facing the firing squad there, I don't know. No, just kidding.
Sure.
Yes, we do, I think we do need to start with introductions, so, I agree.
Welcome, Dr. Coleman. I was just mentioning that I was on the search committee for that position, and very pleased to see you here. And we have been dealing with human resources questions in our last academic year. So we're eager to hear your ideas about how human resources should work and how it should work in particular for your connection and faculty understanding about what's going on. I think that's one of our difficult parts of understanding exactly what we get paid and how and why. But welcome and feel free at any time in the future to arrange a meeting with Faculty Senate, and we'll be happy.
I think this should be ongoing, colleagues. I think you should, I just recommend it until, but I think you should have access to your HR person on a monthly or quarterly or whichever basis, and to throw questions at me. Any HR VP worth their anything, you one of my constituents. I think, and I just say this, HR, we have a driving force to drive the three major areas of the organization, a university or a college. And those things we put in focus and they need to give extra support to is the things that's driving the revenue. Faculty drives the revenue. Enrollment management drives the revenue. Foundations drive the revenue. So at any point in time, you guys need to talk to me. We need to support you, whatever you're doing. That requires me sitting here, or that will require me being here on a monthly basis, or whichever time you can put me on your spot. That's, I think we have a pretty good team. We just need to examine our model. There are multiple HR models that you can do that. And the current model that I think we're in is what we call a compliance model. It's extremely good at maintaining compliance. Very good at it. It's one of the most sophisticated, one of the most ones that keep you lower your exposure. Another model called a strategic business partner or universal model, where you have HR generalists and these generalists will be separating into we don't have a one-stop shop. We have a one-size-fits-all model, meaning it doesn't look at areas that some models it doesn't take into account that some departments may be far along in strategy than other departments. It takes one decision made for one area is a decision made for all areas. So you move to a universal model, which is usually comprised of highly strong HR generalists. Next sophisticated model, which we will be moving to, is called strategic business partner model. That is one of the most sophisticated you can get. We have good thoroughbreds. We just need to train them, and we will move them up to speed to get to where they're going, to have us deliver. I believe that each area should have their own HR generalist. It's a one-stop shop where you just call this person for benefits, you call this person for recruiting, you call this person for compensation, you call this person. You don't have time. The one thing about compliance model is you don't know who you need. You may call this person for this, that person for this person for over there. But in a sophisticated HR department, each area, generalist or business partners have a certain sector group, and that's all they deal with. So, for instance, if Michael Coleman, I know if someone says, I'm sorry, I know you were on my search. What's your name again, sir? What's that?
What's your name?
Chris Hudson.
That's Chris. Yeah.
No, it's not Chris.
There you go.
Yeah, Chris Hudson. He said my shirt. Glasses aren't thick enough yet. But if Chris calls and I'm your business partner, or I'm your generalist, I would be able to say to you that if someone says something about your area, that doesn't sound like Chris, because we've worked together, become partners, and I know exactly the way you guys, or exactly what you want. When you have a one-on-one relationship, completely change the whole model of the situation.
So how does the college sector, I guess, you said each sector would have their own HR generalist or partner. How do you segment the different parts of the college?
Through workflow. Some areas could have 2 people, but extremely busy, and and some area could have 15 employees, but so you may give this person, it depends on the amount of questions and the customer service levels that's needed. But for instance, I'll give you a case in point. In Michigan, we had 6 business partners, and each of them had about 4 to 5 units they were responsible for. Some had 3, but then again, if the academic area is your area, then you could get 3. Because you got to hit they record faculty, some do it 3 times a week came in, and when they came in, they had a lot of questions. But so some of them had 3, but on average, each one of them had about 5 business units, except because of heavy demand in faculty, and we needed to support that area.
What's that?
We were going to do introductions and we didn't, so he knows who we are.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that didn't work out so well. Please,
Okay.
we have some substitutes in today for senators, but if we just go around the table and introduce ourselves.
I'm Dr. Aaron again. I run the vocational nursing program department. Vocational nursing.
I'm Julie Byer. I'm a substitute today, but I work in the nursing department. I've been a faculty member for 3 years, I think.
I used to, when I was at Price Waterhouse, one of our clients was a surface-to-air medical trauma tactics unit. So I used to have to recruit and train nurses. So it was quite fascinating. And I know ER nurses, especially a flight ER nurse, is worth their weight. If you can get one. Okay.
Rashmi Gunai, I work in the business department, more specifically business technology.
Technology?
Business technology.
Oh, outstanding.
Tanner Hargrove, and I'm in psychology.
Okay, let's move on. My wife is at A&M, and she's heading up the student wellness and counseling. She just merged the medical side versus the student affairs side. And when we first started dating, she had 5 psychology roommates that I had to deal with. I'm so conscious about everything you do. That I know when we were in the Bahamas, we went through our first hurricane, and the school counselor came over to talk to me. And he said something to the extent that, you're away from home, there's no electricity, how are you making it along? And I looked, are you counseling me? And I said, do you know what my wife does? They say, anytime I make her mad, I can get a free diagnosis. So I'll just leave the things the way they are. But thank you, it's good to meet you, sir.
Hi, Pam Ortega. I'm English, professor of English. I teach at the Moore County campus in Dumas.
I'm sorry.
I teach at the Moore County campus.
Oh, outstanding,
in
okay.
Dumas.
Chris Hudson, I'm in the English department.
Piper Johansson, I'm in the biology department.
Dwayne McHugh, I'm in computer information systems.
Okay.
Derek Jett, and I'm in advanced manufacturing.
With the computer information, do you guys teach things like Agile, Six Sigma, project management?
We try and integrate a lot of those into our coursework. We don't have particular classes in them. One of the things that we have is like a special topic where we're hitting kind of the most current things, whether it's project management or AI or some of those other, whatever's kind of in the current forefront. So we try and integrate that into our classes as much as we can without making it a specific course.
Do you remember the old term business liaisons?
Yeah.
Those ones I was used to at Price Waterhouse. When Arthur Anderson created Anderson Consultants, the field took off.
Yes, it is.
They
I've got
were-
a friend that's a general partner at McKinsey in San Francisco. So yes.
And at the time, so when I was at Price, the order came out because Anderson was cornering the market, Anderson Consultants. All of the other big 8 was trying to get into it. And we had business liaisons. And that seemed to have dropped off, but the most sophisticated, and they were like interpreters. But that was what they had. I think they should come back because they're the most powerful piece that you could think of. They can do Agile. They can do all of these things. And I think that is one of the things I'd like to talk to you about, to see where we could go in terms of bringing that to some of our IT people here.
Yeah, definitely open for the conversation.
Yes.
To interject, that's what we are looking at doing with business technology, because we are the business department. And so in liaison with CIS, we are thinking we need to bring those things into.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm so happy, yeah.
Yeah, we definitely have that opportunity.
Work with our CIO in Michigan, and we started training our IT people. I'm a sensei, master black belt in
Yeah.
Six Sigma.
I'm actually a black belt in Six Sigma from General Electric.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that absolutely is the way to go. And whether we talk about Kaizen or anything.
Sounds like they didn't want to take it at first. I trained them Kaizen master in lean, and I trained them. What would it look like? I can tell you this, and what got me thinking about this is when I was at Idaho, they implemented Banner, but it was a complete mess because they sent IT people in and no one standardized processes. So they got 16 different versions of how to program the system. But what would it look like if you to design a business liaison or IT person trained in that can come in and say, let's standardize this process first. Let's bring this all in together because right now all you did was speed up a bad process. But what would it look like if we designed our people to know project management, to know continuous improvement? Before you even touch the software part of it, you can lay out or get rid of a lot of tons of things of inefficiency.
How to make your processes as lean as possible.
Yes, and before you even program, and I find the two computer IT people make the best lean Kaizen people because they have this. I'm sorry, I could talk to you about
No,
this.
you're good. And this is actually my background, so I'm all for it. We need to have lunch or something sometime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe the two of us, three of us. Okay, but I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
And I'm Steve Malley, I run the fire academy.
You
Run the
fire,
academy.
outstanding. Outstanding. Just see all the nice trucks. Okay.
And Steve is the chair of our ad hoc committee on, that was working with HR to, I guess, establish some common ground in terms of what the faculty's concerns were and things like that. So at this point, I'd like to particularly just if you all have any questions for Dr. Coleman to ask him, I think it's a great idea to set up a regular presence here and faculty senate. That would be wonderful. We love that. We like the transparency of Emerald College and between administration and faculty. I think we get along really well most times. So anyone have any questions for Dr. Coleman or concerns?
I guess I'd like to know, you talked a little bit about that you're moving to the strategic business partner vision. What is your implementation plan for your team?
First, like we're doing now, I just met with my cabinet for the first time. We just met and rolled that out. And I introduced a couple of publications. But the first thing we do is, like I told in the search committee interviews, the first thing you do in the first 100 days is a lot of people make the mistake of thinking they need to hit the ground running. That's not true. You need to hit the ground listening. The first step is interviewing external stakeholders. I start with the leadership team. I work myself down to the directors, and then I move over to faculty, and you got to get a complete understanding of the needs of your campus, where our strengths, where our weaknesses. The second step in what we're doing now is I interview the capabilities of HR. As I said before, I've worked with a lot of departments, HR people, and I don't look for skill set. I look for heart. I can train on skill set. And so far, I've interviewed pretty much every single one of them. They all have heart. And what we need to do is train and move them up to the skill set we have. We have a Ferrari, but we're trapped inside of a Yugo. And we need to turn that Yugo back to a Ferrari where we need to go. I'm a big believer in Stoicism. And there's a limerick in Stoicism that says, on the eve of battle, Amazon warrior princess was overlooking the battlefield. She's outnumbered to 18-1 in the oncoming battle the next morning, the next day or whenever. As she's looking over the battlefield, fate comes to her and whispers to her and says that there's a storm coming. You all will perish. The strong will die first. The weak will question you. You all will perish. The warrior princess response, we are the storm. And the next morning she fights, she catches the enemy off guard, and she uses the storm to overwhelm them and conquer them. Point of that story I'm trying to tell you that the obstacle in the way becomes the way. I see this as an opportunity for us to succeed. I see, as long as we understand each other, as long as we understand what your needs and your services are, we'll supply those. But we need to do that. We need to keep open communication. I'd rather you be blunt with me as possible. That way, that's the only way we can fix and do the things we need. But letting things build up builds frustration. It does. Nothing worse than to call down an HR and you ask a question and one HR person tells you one way to do it. You're not sure about the question, and so you call back the next day and you get another HR person and they tell you something altogether different. And the third time, since you so completely confused, you call back and you get another HR person and they tell you something completely different. And when that happens, I'm telling you, I say that the process is random. It's not, is it written down? Then it's random. We need to figure out what we need to do, and we need to introduce a standardization process to all the stakeholders. How do we get, you should know things before you even call HR. Our focus will be teaching people how to fish, not giving you a fish. So you understand where we're coming from. Our focus is strategically, you should know these things. That you don't have to call us for everything because you already know. The thing you need to call me for strategically and to help you coach you to strategically work your processes and procedures out, help you resolve conflict, coach you, do life coaching. When we're done with this department, we will have organizational effectiveness, not organizational direction. There's a difference between organizational effectiveness and organizational development. Right now, that's your strategic piece where people come to tell you, I can facilitate your strategic planning. I can teach you. One of the things I do know about faculty when I supported them, they used to, most every place I've been, faculty rotate. The chairs, department chairs, all of them, every 3 years they rotated. So we had to train. Now, most of them are experts in physics. Most of you guys are experts in chemistry. Most of you guys are experts in business, but you're not expert in coaching and that's okay. That's what we designed a leadership development program for faculty to teach you team building, to teach you 360 coaching, to understand that coaching is just not a one size fits all. Coaching is, you can coach your peer, there's peer coaching. When there's an imbalance, coaching your superior, and there's coaching people below you. There's also how to give feedback and how to give feedback up front. But the thing is, I don't know chemistry, but I do know these things, and we can train you guys on how to be more effective leaders on the other side, soft serve. And I started laughing. What do you expect? My wife, what do you expect, Michelle? Ask her about physics. She can tell you all about that. That's not what they hired her for. They didn't hire her to be these things. They hired her to be an outstanding physicist. That's our job in HR, to teach these other skills or to bring those skills up. That's what I envision. If you want this type of training, we'll be more than happy to give it, to bring it to you. But from what I've seen in our HR department, I've got pretty good people that we need to just change, make a shift in our business model and move forward. All of them have heart. All of them they want to be here. They want to serve. We just need to figure out how do we do it where we build bridges.
I can say on the basis of the way that my faculty talks together about just our paychecks, the most basic level, that for many years, this has gone on for quite a long time, that we would usually gather up the day that we got paid and say, what did you get paid? Does that make sense to you? It seems like it's off, or, up 100, down 300 or whatever. And we were never able to really, to understand and base, and, we have families and we have an economy that we have to follow in our lives. And if you can't have some kind of certainty about what you're going to receive, whether it's every 2 weeks or every month in your paycheck, it makes life really difficult. I mean, we're not making a lot of disposable income. We're on the basic level, and it's shocking to sometimes see, I'm 10% less than I was last month or last 2 weeks or whatever. So
You usually have those type of situations when there's a split between HR and payroll.
Sorry, say it again.
If payroll is in another area and HR is another area, a lot of people still think that there's a disconnect between those two things, or when it's usually those type of scenarios will occur if payroll is in one area and if HR is another area.
Right.
And if they're not, and what I understand, the payroll was moved out of HR. So that's an issue. But I can tell you this, our focus, the most important thing to me is are the trains running on time. Nobody cares how strategic you are if they can't get their paycheck. Nobody cares how world-class you are if they can't get their claims, man. If you can't keep the trains running on time, I wouldn't suggest you try to go strategic or be anything other than the first thing you need to do is make the trains run on time. And that is listening to you guys, or coming and listening to you guys, seeing what your issues are as a feedback loop to where we're going. One of the things I'm assessing is, should payroll come back to HR? Because if HR is getting all of this grief for it, we might as well be able to control what's going on in payroll. And another step is, I'm looking at one of the things and recommendations I'm going to be making is creating total rewards, bringing wellness, compensation, benefits, payroll all in one area as a unit. But yes, I understand. Yeah, but generally when things like that happens, HR and the HR portion of payroll and the payroll portion of payroll is that there's drops and handoffs. And if you bring them both together, you can eliminate most of that. But I will. I'm looking forward to coming once a month or whenever you summon me. That's what we're at Michigan. Shit, I've been summoned by the Senate.
Yeah, but the state of Texas has made it clear that we are not allowed to summon anyone. But if you would like to.
I take it as a positive.
You're always
I take it as a positive.
And also, I think.
But that's what they call it in Michigan State, when you get summoned but they have staff senate and faculty senate.
And the other thing is, what we've done in the past is when we did have questions, we got them to you a few weeks before so that you've got plenty. We're not going to just drop the questions on you when you show up. So we'll get you the questions ahead of time.
But
so you've got
perfect.
time.
And I look forward to that. But the only way for us to build stronger relations and support you, because our job is, we're measured by the success of you guys. We're measured by the success of, that's the only way we can be measured. If you guys are not succeeding, then we're not. The only way you become world-class in HR is you're measured by the strength and the success of your customers. That's the only way you measure yourself. But I am looking forward to meeting, or anytime you guys like. I've opened door policy. but there should not be any, if you guys have a question, I'm always open for it. Please come talk to me. Or give me a call. That's what you pay me for.
Thank you for coming in today. We really appreciate it. And we'll set up something. I'll see what everyone thinks, and we can have some kind of regular meeting. We do with others as well. So we'd appreciate it.
Because I can give you guys, in fact, when I collect the data, I didn't do, the one thing is I'm doing internal interviews. We'll be issuing a college-wide survey on HR, and we will be presenting the findings. So all campus are welcome, and we'll be presenting those findings to different stakeholders. But the only way to get better is to be transparent about what people think of us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, that's mine.
We will summon you at our pleasure.
Oh, and my name is Mike.
Okay,
Thanks, Michael.
nice to meet you, Michael.
All right, let's, I think, where are we on, we're in the middle of new business.
Derek actually just made a good point, is if they're gonna do an HR survey, do we want to add an ad hoc question? I mean, I guess it depends on how long it's gonna take, right?
I think
You know, we should still keep it.
We should still keep it. Yeah.
With him just starting, I like the attitude. You don't hit the ground running, you hit the ground listing. I think that's a good take for somebody that comes in. We think there's a lot of things that needs to change, and I think we all think very strongly that there's some things that need to change. But I like that attitude, but I think it should be an ongoing thing. He seems open to that, and so I don't know that we couldn't collect questions on a regular basis and just submit them to him.
Fair.
I know the last time it'd gone on for so long that we had a lengthy list of questions, and maybe to keep from, hitting over the head with 100 different questions, we bring them to them 10 at a time or as they come in. But whatever y'all want to do it, because I think it would be good to have that open dialogue between us and the HR office versus just going there when there's a problem.
Yeah. I think we could just set it up as some kind of routine thing where we meet every 3 months or something like that, and bring those kinds of questions in front of him. I know that when he interviewed, that he definitely has this, pretty good balance between the sort of theory of good human resources action and praxis. So I think that he'll be open for our questions anytime. And if not, we'll do what we had to do last time. So, okay. So the one piece of new business I wanted to bring up is really not so much new business, and that is just that I want everyone to be thinking about how better to make the transition from May through the summer into September. I know Steve and I had some remarkably deep, long emailings between IT and the two of us and IT just to get the mailing list released, and then it wasn't really even released because they control it anyway.
Or even found.
It was Nathan Fremmel, so before Renee. So 3 presidents back before it had been changed again. And the same thing, Delane, is on our sharing on the Google Drive. That's all over.
It's all over the place. I agree.
So I would like for us to think this year of a way to, present kind of create a one-pager, bulleted points, make sure these things are done all the time. I know that for like the responsibilities of president and vice president, they're sort of written out in narrative form, and it's, we really just need a task list to make sure that, particularly since we all now are only going to have 2-year limits to our terms, unless you get chosen by the president as a nominee. So we don't have a lot of the institutional knowledge of the faculty senate is going to be challenged from now on, because you're not going to have people in here for 3 years who are able to learn what the position does, even if it's just by watching, and seeing how it works. So I think we need to probably, for the benefit of future senates, make sure that we create a clear task list that is also known to IT, known to the president's office, known to everybody that needs to know how the business office for our tiny budget that we have, and all those things, so that people coming in can get rolling right away, rather than having to just spend weeks and weeks on unanswered emails. So that was the point I wanted to make about the trying to streamline how we begin at the beginning of every year. Committee reports. Where's our committee list? Do you have it handy? Down here. Quickly, I imagine most of you, anybody chairing a committee have a report?
I met with Dr. Coleman.
Yes. Good job.
Good job. Okay, all right. Committee report, so you are the, what is that? Oh, the HR.
So elections, Michael's not here, right? Okay, so elections, that's another place for elections this year. When we hit March or something like that, it's going to be hard to figure out how to pull this off, because
I'm gonna need to get like staff numbers for
Yeah.
like how many faculty are in each department
Yeah.
to like see the new ratio.
Did you get that?
I did see it in what we have right now, but I want to double check it.
Gotcha.
You could send me that question, maybe I can pose that to Dr.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, he can,
Yeah, maybe we
should be able to get that data first.
Sure.
Frank should be able to
Like
get
how,
it too.
how many
Yeah.
faculty are a part of each?
If you have trouble finding it, send me the questions and I'll ask.
Yeah.
But it's going to be complex, because we have a new system where we'll be electing a number of people, proportionate number of people by area.
Mhm.
And then we will also be providing a list to the president for people who are willing to serve as her nominees, right? And then we're going to have an officers election, which we will then have to present to the president as a suggestion for who the Senate nominees will be, and various things like that. So we're going to have to go through it the first time, so it's going to be difficult to figure out the best way. I mean, we'll learn from it, I suppose, but it'll be the best way to, we'll have to figure out how to do it.
The list of how to better begin each academic year.
Yes. So hopefully that will be part of that also, making the new academic year Senate run smoothly. Legislative Committee, Pam, you have anything?
Nope.
With the TCCTA representatives, I'm also one of those. Vice President Asanga is supposed to also actually in the rules be part of it, but I'm part of the TCCTA Legislative Action Committee, and I sent out an email last night to 114 possible still faculty members of Amarillo College who had lapsed memberships in TCCTA. And we're trying to build that back up, because obviously the lack of a voice in the legislature last session caused a great deal of harm to us. It allowed bad ideas to become bad law. And I realize I'm doing this publicly, but that's the truth. And we need to get ahead of that. And Amarillo College traditionally and unbelievably has been one of the highest, if not the highest percentage members of TCCTA in terms of how many people we have in there.
So regarding that, I've never been a member of TCCTA. So it would be nice if the emails went to all faculty so that if they are considering it, they'll, get back to you and become members.
Yeah, that'd be fine. I thought that everybody'd be bored of me saying it at our general meetings and everything. But the one
It's
thing
hard.
that
So
I
if
think
it's
we should
a
all.
meeting and we don't necessarily have the ability to enroll right there.
Right.
I agree with Rashmi, that,
Right.
hey.
But
you're
the-
right.
It'll annoy us.
Especially the point of how it becomes a voice.
Yeah.
And
Well-
the legislature makes a big difference.
The best thing about TCCTA, as far as I've seen, and I wasn't a member the whole time I was a faculty member here either. They have the liability insurance, which is extremely cost effective. It's about it, I think, with membership and liability insurance, meaning that you will have a lawyer represent you if you say something wrong about gender in a class. That is important, and that's becoming more and more important. And so you have, I think it's about $115 a year or something. AAUP, American Association of University Professors, is at the lowest level, $25 a month.
Do we have a local chapter for that? I was actually.
WT just now does, and they're allowing us to come in, although I'm not sure I can afford it anymore because, but supposedly a couple of community college members are the real go-getters at AAUP. So that's kind of a decision, but their liability insurance is really a lot more expensive. So TCCTA's insurance will cover you if you have to go to trial because of, some student who has complained or administration has complained. And now there's this Senate Bill 37 created an ombudsman office that most of the people you talk to about what that function really is not a receive complaints and look at them, but a surveillance office for what people are saying in classes and things like that. So I think first of all, for Amarillo College, I think that if we got our numbers back up where we were one of the heavy hitters here, we would have a stronger voice. We're still pretty good. We've got something like 200 members, and we had upwards of 350 at one point. So we have a pretty good contingent, but I really, from my perspective, it's more of a protect yourself kind of issue now. You never know what's going to come back and get you. So think about it. You just go to their website and they have it set up easily where you can join. So if you weren't on the list that I sent out last night because of you were lapsed, then yeah, please think about it. Meet Award, how are we doing?
I have on my task list that I need to get a hold of Skip, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened.
Yeah, he'll be quite helpful for you, I'm sure. Professor Emeritus Sanga's not here. I need to talk to him anyway about getting that rolling and what I learned last year while doing it. So I'll do that. Faculty survey. That what?
Is that me?
No, it's Letha's not here, right?
Yours is committees, faculty committees. Yeah, you're
Faculty survey, that's what, we pretty much taken care of that anyway. So hospitality, Sarah's not here, how inhospitable of her. Professional standards and relations committee, that's all of us, and nobody ever asks us what we think about that. Faculty development committee, Steve and I are both on it. We've been, or I haven't been doing that much, but Robert and Victor have been doing, seems like an incredible job.
I think
Do we have enough?
and not in a bad way, making sure everything's getting done and things are getting done in a timely manner, which I think has been a problem in the past.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think they've done a great job. It looks like it's going to run really smoothly. It's going to be out at the First Responders Academy. It's a really cool place. I look forward to being there. I think everything's running well along there.
I had a Senate question that came up from one of our people, and it was, when did ACEs become a requirement to attend? It just sort of started happening.
It's been that way.
Yeah.
They've been here a very long time, and one of the things that was said is, we used to have ACEs, and you went to Santa Fe for that, and it was like 20 people. When did we start requiring that people spend an entire day of their prep week in meetings for ACEs? And I told him, I said, I don't know the answer to that, but I can bring it up.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, actually. I mean, I kind of remember when it happened, but it always in my career, it happened as a sort of connection with, you want to be doing something here for your rank.
Right.
You want to.
Right, and that's no longer the case, because now it's required for all faculty.
Right.
As far as I know, it's been required basically since its inception.
Yeah, since I've been here, and I've been here like
Well,
17 years now.
So you're talking about two different things.
Right, and that's
Because
what
the
that
ACTS,
person brought up.
because I went to Santa Fe
Yeah, I know.
and I did that. So that was a different, that was ACTS, Amarillo College Teaching Seminar. That was a different acronym and everything. That was a whole separate
And
thing.
I think this particular faculty member has in their head that it's kind of that all of a sudden,
Those were two
if
different.
you don't need it for rank, or you don't need it for, the development, there was a concern that we require all faculty to go.
But you are also required in your contract to complete professional development. So
But
what that does actually for everybody, I'm just gonna say this in
It counts as faculty.
is that gets everybody covered on that, truly.
You don't have to fight
Because, yes, they want us to go to other things and things like that, but at the very basic level, at least you can say, yes, I am doing those things, that, because it is required in our contract to do professional development. And there's a whole lot of people that don't do much, I'm gonna say, because I was on that committee until basically last year.
Right.
I used to do a lot more faculty development before the cohorts started.
Yeah, and that's why they,
Cohorts and the deliverables.
I think that's why they got rid of that.
Yeah.
Model fund.
So I guess my answer back to this faculty member is, it's a way to ensure that everyone gets professional development.
That's what, in my opinion, that covers us under our contract as far as we have completed faculty, our professional development is by being part of that. To me, it's always been presented, and maybe the same with you, Piper, that it's one of those things like that is required along with graduation.
That's how I've always received it.
I mean,
But
that's,
when I first started, nobody told me about it, so I missed the first year
Yeah.
because nobody told me it was.
It's also kind of a low pressure way of delivering something like a conference paper, which is always valuable experience. I don't know about the requirement aspect of it, but I think we've pretty much been around the same amount of time, and that it always was, and just help them get over it.
That's I still thought I'd ask.
I know, we'll all complain about it and it'll.
Instructional technology, which I'm apparently a member of, but I've never met, and I don't know who they are. Faculty committee appointments. That's your. Yeah.
Nothing.
Not met.
Well, and I think that we talked about the only thing that we need to change is just the faculty senate one. And I did actually talk to Frank Cherie is the holder of that document. So it is not a Senate document. So we have to work with her to modify that document.
And so when do we need to send that form?
We usually send that out in like March or April because it's for the next year that we do it. So you're signing up for those committees the following year. So it's a mid-spring kind of thing. That's it.
Randy Tanner, got anything?
No, in report.
The ad hoc human resources we've covered. Ad hoc SB 37 provisions committee, I think we can probably dissolve this committee.
I motion to dissolve this committee.
Which one?
All in favor?
And I'm on this.
Yes, okay.
Very well. And then the Senate archives, this Delaney, we mentioned this earlier, so that is still in process. All we're doing there is hoping to get a clear Google Drive thing that everybody can get into and access and see what their job is. That's what our idea is there. So.
Okay, so who's that seconded by? Piper, you said it, and then seconded by,
I think.
did somebody second the SB? Okay, all right, thank you. All right, I was writing so about the other one, sorry.
Yeah, we're so excited. I'm glad it's over as well.
I have another question when we have time.
That's what we're up for, open forum, so please ask.
I hate that we're on video, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Earlier this week, the registrar's office sent out a public shaming list of faculty. And I don't appreciate
For
that.
census?
For census.
Yeah.
Repeatedly saying, you haven't done this yet. You haven't done this yet. I wasn't on the list, but I just thought it was a public shaming of faculty and it was inappropriate. And I have told Frank that I felt that way. So I've taken it to Frank and he said he would follow up. But I just wanted to let you know that I think we need to make a strong statement that that's not all right.
And that was from the registrar?
It was from Tiffany, yeah.
Like, shouldn't they contact the people directly?
Well, and
Instead of sharing it to.
you don't need to know whether I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a public shaming and I didn't like it.
I mean, there is a real, the census day that nobody really knows about. I know that my former school owed the federal government something like $70 million because they didn't perform that thing correctly,
I'm not
right?
saying that.
No, I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that I agree with you. I don't think it's appropriate for these things to be sent out as an all-fact email to say, look at these people who, for whatever reason, usually it's technological, that you can't get in it.
Yeah, especially with network issues.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and we had issues this week, but it just kept coming.
Okay, but you've already taken it to the
I took it to
appropriate.
Frank. Well, actually, first I took it to Bob Austin and he said, well, faculty need to learn to do their stuff. And I was like, well, that got nowhere. So I took it to Frank.
Yeah.
I thought talking to Bob was the best person because it's Bob's area. But I was basically brushed off.
If it gives you any comfort, I look at it and see that my name's not on it, and then I'm like, good.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's like, I scroll through, I'm like, is there Piper? Is there Piper?
Well, but it just, so it shouldn't be.
No, I agree.
I agree.
So
So
I brought it up and.
if it continues, we will
Because like
take
typically, like
appropriate
in
advisory
previous
action.
semesters, yeah, I think in previous semesters, they contacted department chairs. And then it was the department chairs'
Yeah, it's up to the
job
department, yeah.
to like, be like, hey, get your stuff submitted.
Okay, I expect Frank Sobey to have a number of things to talk to us about at our December meeting, which actually is like a week before finals this year, strangely. Does anyone have any other information or ideas or questions they want to bring up before we adjourn? All right,
Well, we don't have a January meeting, correct? Just February? We do
Yeah.
December, then we get February?
Pretty much. Okay.
December is December 5th.
Yes, it's always that first Friday. So.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
Second. All right, we are adjourned. Let me go turn off our machines.
Okay.